Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing a 2022 Mercedes-AMG GT43 4-door. First and foremost, so a huge shout out and thank you to the Mercedes-Benz of Farmington for giving me some time with this AMG GT. Check out the inventory in the description down below. And the thing that I love about the Mercedes-Benz of Farmington is they are a one-price store, so they're not going to give you a horrible back and forth haggling situation like other Mercedes stores will give you when you're in the buying process. And so definitely check them out if you want a super easy and straightforward buying process with your next Mercedes. And on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below as well. Let's get into the review. So under the hood, we have a turbocharged 3-liter inline-6 that goes through a 9-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 19 around town and then 25 on the highway, with power outputs being 362 horsepower and then 369 pound-feet of torque. And I love how this engine is displayed. And of course, we got the AMG logo. Now let's go with the front end of the GT 4-door. So first off, you guys can see the hood is absolutely massive here with the GT. You've got these beautiful sharp body lines in normal Mercedes-Benz fashion. And then you can see here we got the Mercedes logo, and we have another Mercedes logo that is gigantic. It also doubles as a sensor. There's a camera above that logo. And then you can see here we've got the daytime running lights with the LED headlamps, super bright actually. Parking sensors here on the front end, and just look at all the venting here and then the accenting on the grille. Together it looks absolutely amazing, and this really does like resemble the regular GT, right? The 2-door, but in 4-door format. Like they've just absolutely nailed the proportions with this car. Now coming around the side here, we've got two 55mm tires wrapped around 19-inch wheels in the front, and then two 85mm tires wrapped around 19-inch wheels in the back. And let's actually take a closer look at the wheels themselves. So of course, we've got the AMG script there on the brake caliper. Look how big those rotors are. And I love how there's a satin finish on the wheels with the ring around. It just looks really cool, especially from a distance. You guys will see that when we look at the full side profile of the car. And then notice here with the chrome accent, you got your Turbo 4matic badge right there. And then notice with the mirrors, they're two-tone with the black on the bottom and then the silver on the top. And then more chrome trim here around the windows, at the top of the door handles as well. So definitely lends to this having like a luxury car appearance. And now you guys can see how those silver rings pop out on the wheels, and it matches all the other silver / chrome accents on the car, and I think it looks really good. Now here's the key fob. We have our lock, unlock, and then this is the opening here for the trunk. And then of course got our AMG logo, and then you've got AMG here on the back. Now, if we press this, notice it'll automatically pop open. It is a hatchback, and we still get these beautiful little metallic plaques here on the back. Even though they're not necessary, it's kind of there more for design. And storage space is phenomenal. I mean, this is a pretty large sized sedan, well, hatchback rather. You guys can see there with the storage space underneath, and then built-in cargo cover. And then notice how this is kind of shaped so that people can't just like look in, so the cargo cover does cover everything up. And then when you're done, you can lock it, or you can just lower it down. And so, you know what? It's practical. Now let's finish things up here with the rear. So first off, you can see how everything's kind of like sloped here again, that hatchback design. And then the spoiler is deployed in its up position right now. You can lower it down. Notice how it will be flush with the bodywork. And then you can see with the taillights, just like the regular GT, you got your AMG GT43 badge, parking sensors here on the rear. And then you can see you've got your AMG exhaust tips and then diffuser at the bottom. And yeah, again, really good looking from the rear. Now here's the door panel in the rear. You guys can see here with the leather trim at the top, and then notice the wood trim down below with the metallic trim right next to it. And then you can see one of the speakers for the sound system, and then more leather trim all over. And just look at all the stitching, and pretty much every single surface is covered. And then popping here to the seats. So you have these bucket looking seats here in the back. So you can see the bolsters on them, especially there on the side, are actually pretty aggressive. And notice the mix between the leather and the Alcantara inserts. Definitely a cool aesthetic. And we'll quickly pop in here. So you guys can see it's actually pretty spacious back here. You got this little behind the seat storage, some vents here for the rear passengers, a couple of cup holders, got some charging ports as well. And obviously that means that this is not really usable as a middle seat, basically. So you just have these two seats in the back. So that means this is a 4-seater, which is still twice as practical as a regular AMG GT, might I add. Let's head to the front. Now here's the front door panel. You can see again with the leather trim and the stitching that goes all throughout, and then the wood trim as well. And look at the silver trim, just looks fantastic. All of your seat adjustments, heated seats, that's to adjust the passenger side. And then you have 3 different settings for the memory seats. Burmester sound system, blind spot monitoring for the mirrors. And look at all the window controls right there. And the opening for the hatch. Got your AMG logo right there. And then here's the front seat. So again, you can see really nice with the padding, AMG logo. And then look at the perforated leather with the bolstering. Definitely a cool aesthetic. And then obviously, you know, other than the lumbar, there's nothing else on the side of the seat because everything's on the door panel. And then look how beautiful those pedals are. And then even the light control, it feels and looks really nice. You can see again with the nice trim pieces and even the vents, like look how nice these vents are with the appearance on them. But let's pop in. So here's the steering wheel. First off, beautiful from a material standpoint. You've got really nice leather here at the top and at the bottom. Perforated leather here on the sides so you can get a little bit of a better grip. And the paddle shifters look normal, but they're not normal. Like, look at the back here of the paddle shifter. There's these little like gaps here on the paddle shifter so you can kind of fit your fingers into them. It's very interesting, very unique, I will say that. Of course, we got our Mercedes logo, we got AMG logo as well. And then you guys can see you've got some controls here for like the infotainment system, or sorry, for the center screen rather, and then infotainment system over on this side. And then we've got our volume and voice command controls, cruise control, and then this is actually a drive mode select. So this is a dedicated drive mode select button, and then when you press it in, it just pops you into individual. And then this is a very interesting button because this controls so many different functions. So first off, you guys can see this is like for the camera, so I can press that and then it'll pull open with the camera view, but then I can press the front of it and it'll change. But notice that I cannot make these the same screen. Like, there's no possible way to make it so they're showing the same thing, which is absolutely hilarious. But yeah, there's so many different things that this controls, right? So you guys can see like that, whether you're in automatic or manual mode, and then that's for like the suspension, then auto stop start, and then for the spoiler, and then your drive mode select, which is also right next to it, and then camera and stability control. And so like, yeah, just very customizable, very unique. It looks cool though, and you know, I actually dig it. I almost forgot about the poor windshield wipers / turn signal stock. Sad guy. And if you guys are wondering, this is for the steering wheel to adjust it. Now then we're done. So my camera doesn't really want to focus on the digital gauge cluster, so sorry if it kind of pops in and out of focus. But anyways, on the left side of the steering wheel, again, you've got the controls here for this center stack, which you notice we can scroll through a few different menus, see different bits of info. And if you press the home screen button on the steering wheel, you have all the same like little menus that you have in the center gauge cluster, which is really cool actually. And just like other Mercedes models with digital gauge clusters, we can actually change how everything looks. So for example, we can change it to sport if we want, and it'll change it up. I really like the super sport design, I will say that. And there you go, camera doesn't want to focus. I think that one looks the best. Come on camera, do your job. But yeah, pretty cool gauge cluster, fully digital, and there you go. Now here's the center infotainment system. First off, we'll pop it into reverse. You can see you've got the backup camera with trajectory lines that do turn with the steering wheel. Notice we have that bird's eye view as well, and we can change the viewpoint here with the camera to see different angles on the car. So from a camera system perspective, the new GT is fantastic. Now as for the rest of the infotainment system, this is a touchscreen, so if you want to use it as a touchscreen, you can, but there is a keypad, so if you don't want to use it as a touchscreen, you don't have to. And we'll see if this has massaging seats. Doesn't look like it, but we do have ambient lighting, which is very important, so you can see there's lots of customization there. And this is where it being a touchscreen kind of comes in handy, where you can like scroll through things with a keypad and then just quickly touch with the touchscreen rather than having to scroll through all of the different menus. But overall, right, you guys can see same information as what you can see in the center gauge cluster right there. With the infotainment system, this just is in touchscreen format and obviously accessible by the driver and the passenger. And of course, got our AMG performance, which this is pretty cool, right? It'll show you, so like I can just rev it a little bit and notice it pops on. That's cool. Now we got to talk about vents. This has 4 in the center and then 2 on either side, and so it's really easy to direct airflow. And then look at the wood trim with the metallic trim, and then all of the stitching and everything here on the dash. And then we've got our analog climate controls down below. We've got some storage space right here with more of that wood trim. And then I love how you have the hazard light button and this little shortcut button area. This is a little keypad to control the infotainment system. And yes, we have another area which we can change the drive modes and suspension and manual shift and stuff. It's cool, it's like on these little screens. So notice when I press it, it actually shows me what's happening on the little screen. I think that's so cool. And you have like this for your volume, and then auto stop start, and then for the spoiler. And we have an actual like blank switch screen thing. So like it not only doesn't push in, but it doesn't have anything on it. And then we have the shifter right here for the 9-speed automatic. Pretty self-explanatory in terms of the use with it. And then we've got our center console right here with a wireless phone charger inside. And notice that this is like actually different from, like, it's like the smoother leather versus like the kind of like cowhide texture, which is kind of interesting. It's just like that random piece right here, right next to the seats. And then you can see here with the glove box, it's normal, nothing crazy happening. But I like how the stitching connects all in a line. That is, and look at the metallic trim and the wood trim. That's really nice from a design standpoint. And I forgot to show this earlier, but there's the passenger memory seat function, adjustments, heated seats, all that stuff. And then finishing things here at the top, you can see the sunroof here. Then darker colored headliner, Mercedes normal mirror that's very nice looking, and there you go. So here's our window sticker for the GT43. You can see the standard equipment right here, and then it'll comfort and convenience, and then safety and security, where you can see the warranty information. And then you can see the base price before options are added on this one, and then the options on this particular car, and then the total price. I love how this is like just a hair under, like literally $10 under $100,000. So I can't technically call it a $100,000 car, but there's the GT43. Now let's get some things up for our video on this 2022 Mercedes-AMG GT43 4-door. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Mercedes-Benz of Farmington for giving me some time with this GT 4-door. Check out the inventory in the description down below. I will see all of you in that next video.